right? Deuteronomy 4, let's call this one take care because that term is going to come up at least twice in the chapter, but let's maybe subtitle it the long con because that is a more contemporary term for a deception that matures over time or becomes more effective the more the mark, the victim, or the person being exploited has time to forget ways they might have been done dirty in the past. And so when Moses is telling the people of Israel to take care, in many ways, he is helping to protect them against the long con of either their enemies or just individually in relationships, ways that you can spin your wheels doing the same toxic things over and over again. But he's doing all that in the context of introducing the law. See, in this chapter, he's going to begin and roughly end with the attitude that they need to have toward the law in verse 1, where it reads, "And now, O Israel, listen to the statutes and the rules that I am teaching you, and do them, that you may live." And so understand it's very similar to something we're going to see in the New Testament when James says, do not just be hearers of the word, but doers. And so understand, we talked not too long ago about how disturbing it can be to see someone who is fluent in deception, speaking lies almost as easily as a person should speak the truth. But on the positive end, when we see someone who is able to speak healthy words, whether it's encouragement or wisdom, that can be as encouraging as it can be discouraging to see someone fluent in deception. And so what he is saying is they need to be fluent in these principles because they have a practical application. Look at it this way. We have Ivy League schools or distinguished institutions that are difficult to get into. And if you can finish from those institutions, they carry a certain level of prestige. The first thing that Moses is going to say is this is a little bit different from graduating from an Ivy because we have some of our most famous corporations come from people who started at Ivies, but they left the schools to create great companies on the merits of what they were able to do, regardless of whether or not they graduated from the Harvards, the Yales, etc. And so Moses is saying, look, people are going to be able to see the evidence in your doing if you are fluent in these concepts. And so in that, he's going to say whether or not you want to be distinguished, the least you want to do is keep yourself from becoming a victim. And he's going to say take care of two things to make sure you don't make yourself a victim or a target unnecessarily. First thing is going to be in verse 9. Only take care and keep your soul diligently, lest you forget the things that your eyes have seen. And so they have already seen some things and the mistakes that they've made that would allow them to prevent retreading the same ground over and over again in those mistakes. And so likewise, in our personal lives, there are situations where we can protect ourselves from the long con if we are protecting ourselves from people who simply want to string us out and distract us from the last time we were, as we said before, done dirty. It's not just on an individual level. We've had economic crashes that are very similar in their red flags. They just, over the passage of time, give a different generation a chance to forget the way it happened the last time. So in many ways, when he is saying, don't forget the things that you have seen, he's talking about the ways in which a firm grasp of history or healthy understanding of history keeps you from becoming exploitable. And we've all got blind spots, so we're all exploitable to a degree. But what Moses is telling the children of Israel to do is to take care that they don't forget so much history that they're easily exploitable. And likewise, I think we do well to do the same. The second thing he's going to tell them to take care of is in verse 23, where it reads, take care lest you forget the covenant of the Lord your God. And in balking at the rules of the covenant of God, whether it's Old or New Testament, a lot of times that comes from the fact that we come from a culture where we prize our freedom, but we balk at his covenant at the expense of understanding what's really going on or what's really motivating it. And as we've said in times past, he's really trying to help us set healthy boundaries so we can have healthy relationships. Why? Because it's tough to have a healthy relationship in a situation where you're physically unsafe. It's tough to have a healthy relationship in a situation where you can't trust the words that are coming out of the mouths of the people around you. And it's hard to have a healthy relationship or a marriage in particular in a situation where you can't trust your spouse or your friends to be faithful, so on and so forth. It's hard to have nice stuff around people who are always having their eyes on ways in which they can get what's yours. And so that is in a lot of ways what these rules are designed for. They're designed to help people who are going into a new opportunity to have peace in that opportunity. And that is what Moses is really telling them to take care of as they begin to listen to the law of God. And likewise, when we are looking at the things that God is counseling us to do, we're free to reject them. But what we're rejecting is the wisdom that God is giving us as to how we can have peace in the new opportunities that he brings to us.